Alright, what's up you guys? Welcome to another action figure review, as today we're going to be taking a look at Ultraforce, which was a superhero type animated series released by Galoob in 1995. Now, if you haven't seen this animated series, it's actually pretty interesting because it is inspired by a bunch of Marvel and DC superheroes, just like the same as Wildcats if you haven't seen that animated series or those action figure reviews. So Ultraforce is basically a group of heroes who basically come together and kind of initiate this Avengers or Justice League type superhero group to stop the evil villain from taking over the world. Now, the very interesting thing about this animated series is that there was initially a first group filled with a different set amount of rosters, and after those characters were defeated and killed in a war by this enemy right here, a new set of warriors were inducted to be inside this new group of heroes right here, as we see, called Ultraforce. So let's go ahead and take a look at all these figures up close and see how great they really are. And again, if you're familiar with the Ultraforce, you'll know that there's plenty of other characters within this roster, but unfortunately they did not make those characters, especially with some other female characters, one also resembling the character Jubilee from the X-Men. So let's go ahead and take a look at these characters and see how great they really are. So up first, we're going to be taking a look at the character called Prime. Now, he's a very interesting concept within the actual animated series because he's actually half man-esque and half child, but technically he's more of a child who transforms into this grown-ass man. Now, right off the bat, you will see that within these sculpting of the actual figure, his arms look absolutely disgusting, and it's probably one of the worst action figure arms I've ever seen in my entire life. I mean, look at that. It just looks absolutely abysmal. It's disgusting, and yeah, very, very just terrible design. Like I said, it's horrendous. It's just disgusting to look at. However, the really cool thing is he kind of gives you like that Shazam style, right? Where the little kid says like a certain catchphrase like Prime and then transforms into this Superman-esque looking character with the giant cape and the red and blue designs. Now, one of the things I really do like about this figure is that despite his facial expression looking pretty good, you know, the cape design is just a little bit too bulky outside of it, and I do love the actual chrome pieces that they added to the chest plate with the letter P there for Prime. Again, having that blue and red for Superman colors, and the chromes on the feet are actually really good. And despite the design aspects of this looking just bizarre Superman-esque style P with the Prime logo right there, his character arc was actually pretty cool. The kid really tried to prove himself that he is an asset to the Ultraforce team despite being a little kid, so I thought that was pretty cool. The facial expression is not too bad. The wavy hair is decent. Some minor articulation by the knees, but other than that, and maybe some wrist articulation as well. He does come with this interesting style scope and helmet. You just have to place it on his head like that, and it's kind of like he's holding this ultra beam laser kind of thing. And yeah, it's just like one of the weirdest things ever, but the overall aesthetic is pretty decent. Some nice shines there with the chrome, but yeah, I like it for what it is. So that is Prime. Up next, we're going to be taking a look at the character named HARDCASE, and he's a pretty cool character because in the actual animated series, he's one of the leaders of the old groups, and he actually was the one who watched his teammates die in the battle, and he basically lives in a very tough situation. He can't move forward, but he's also dwelling on the past, missing his old comrades. So his facial expression kind of has like those wonky eyes. He does have the yellow ponytail. It's pretty decent, nicely sculpted. I love the armor pieces right there, giving you that nice shiny gold chrome reflecting in the sunlight. That's pretty good. The dark blue outfit with the elbow articulation, the gold chain, and the gold trims right there on the sides. So he's more of a Captain America-esque type character and really tries to be a leader, but sometimes, like his name says, HARDCASE, he gets into a lot of altercations with Prime and fights him a lot and tries to be like an older brother or father figure to him. Yeah, other than that, there's really not much else to this character, but you can see some gold chains there. The blues is pretty nice, the golds are nice intact, some chains there on the wrist, and yeah, pretty good abs there, but yeah, there's really nothing else to this character other than he does come with this giant ass, I guess you can say flight suit, where he kind of just pegs it in like that, and it's like he's flying in midair, and it's like this whole crazy shebang of armor. And yeah, it's not bad. I mean, for the 90s gimmick, kind of launching missiles and kind of like flight suit, where he has his two hands that pegs into the top right there. But you know, if you were to really incorporate it, it would look pretty decent as a little kid trying to fly this guy around. But personally, it's not my thing. However, I think the actual figure itself is pretty decent, and yeah, it's more of a super standard basic style, but the chrome is really the highlight here, and yeah, I absolutely like it. So that is HARDCASE. Up next we have Prototype, and he's no stranger to what you can assume he's going to be, because he is literally the exact same concept as Iron Man. Now, there was an original Prototype character in terms of someone else donned the costume, but then the younger version, or this teenager, ended up getting the costume within the animated series. And basically, like the name says, Prototype, it is a Prototype-esque armor that he summons, kind of really similar to Iron Man, and just kind of helps protect the Prime team whenever they need him. So I love the actual head sculpt of it. Now, there's different color shades of blue on this, which kind of takes away from the aesthetic of it, whereas we have a very nice blue here for like the legs and arms. There's like a turquoise blue right in the middle, kind of like a tealish color. The golds on the neck right here on the forearms and the neck don't necessarily match the actual headpiece, but it's not too much of a drastic difference on camera. And then the eyes and then the black face paint kind of giving you like that Goldust wrestler vibe from WWE. Pretty funny. But the real big highlight here is the actual chrome pieces, which these old 90s figures really knew how to incorporate in the action figure world, because the chrome really does shine a lot, and I really do like that. Some gauntlet pieces there on the side, and we can see just by staring at him, he does have the concept of Iron Man just in a blue uniform, and yeah, it doesn't really contrast against him too much, but yeah, see, you can even see a lot of the mechanical pieces there on the side, and it's just like a blue version of what the red offered. So other than that, the red eyes look pretty cool, black face paint is nice, and the design of it is not bad, and just gives you a really cool armor aesthetic to it, which isn't too bad. He does come with these two straps right here, which is like an ammo type straps, where one wraps around the leg and the other around the torso. But I haven't really utilized it, because even following the instructions, I'm having a hard time, and it's not really pegging or pinning into the actual figure, so I guess that's really okay. And then he does come with this missile launcher type weapon, which you basically take his hand and peg it into the hole of here, so it looks like he's holding the actual missile with the guns and turrets and stuff. So which also connects to the bullets that you see right here on the actual strap. Other than that, it's a pretty cool character, but I feel like it should have been a little more innovative, but it's a nice chromed out figure, which again stands out the most compared to the other ones. So that is Prototype. Up next we have TOPAZ, who's the only female within this Galoob roster, and again, there is no denying who she's going to resemble, because she does have the Wonder Woman-esque style design, and it's a pretty cool looking figure. The chrome is nicely decked out as well. The face has like that Amazonian tiara with the red locks sticking out, and I believe she comes from an all-woman warrior land. I'm not too sure, it's been a while since I've seen the show. However, I do like the grayish silver plated face sculpt, which does add like that unique design element to the figure, and in the blues, the grays all do complement each other, which is very nice. She has a very translucent pink staff, which she utilizes in the actual animated series. It's pretty long for that matter, kind of slips down through the hands here and there, but that's okay. And the overall goldness is pretty good. I mean, the chrome does contrast against the actual golds, but it doesn't really change it too much. She does have the ponytail gold bands around the hair, which is pretty nice, and everything else about it is standard, but it's a really cool design. Now, again, kind of gives you like the Jean Grey Wonder Woman style-esque character trait, but she does come with this additional staff of like translucent pink and like this little fire beam thing, and it's like a bulkier staff, so it's like really weird, but I don't really need to use it, so it's like whatever. I like the original pink staff right here, which kind of adds a little more to it and gives you like that Mortal Kombat Jade vibe. So she does have this red bead necklace around her neck, which does gives it a little more depth into the outfit, but other than that, nothing else too much to share here. So that is Topaz. Up next, we have the character named GHOUL. Now, he's another character that was associated to the other character, HARDCASE, where he was the initial member of the original Ultraforce team. And like HARDCASE, who had to deal the concept of watching his teammates die, he also suffered that fate too. Now, the cool thing about GHOUL is that he's one of those characters that has the superpower of like the zombie-esque. You can just see from the design of it how he gives you the skeleton aesthetics within the undershirt and the pupils, and then you can see the teeth there under the trench coat. You can see the bones under the trench coat, the teeth, and then some of the skulls around the actual head. Bones sticking out from the actual knee joints, which looks a bit creepy but cool at the same time. The bandages, the boots, and he's kind of like the morph of the X-Men. Other than that, it's a pretty cool character. He does come with this giant ass rest in peace coffin that you can literally just open up and you place the figure inside and kind of just do like a zombie thing. So yeah, it's a pretty weird and bizarre concept even for a children's action figure to include a coffin inside a children's toy, but I just do like the design aspect of him, as he has like that skeleton zombie-esque, and the color schemes all do look pretty good. The crotch piece is a bit of a different blue color compared to the actual blue pants, so that's pretty unfortunate, but I do like how at least he has articulation by the knees and elbows, and yeah, it gives you like that standard action figure form. And one of the things I did notice about this figure is that one pupil is actually white and the other one is black, so that's pretty badass. So that is GHOUL. Up next, we're going to be taking a look at the character called NIGHTMAN, and yes, this is basically the version of Batman for the Ultraforce team. Now, he was a very popular jazz player, and I believe in the animated series he got into an accident which caused his eyesight to turn kind of like infrared. You can see his logo is more like a crescent moon, and the hairpiece and waving in the air giving you also like that Batman-esque vibes. The costume really does remind you of the old Batmans as well, with the grays and dark blues, a bunch of rips and holes in it, which adds a little bit more of a detail aesthetic to it because it shows that he's been through some rough days. Again, seeing a lot of the holes there against the background, pretty cool. And yeah, really not much else to say other than he is more of the mysterious member to the actual Ultraforce team. I believe in the cartoon he didn't really join the team, but said he would aid them whenever they needed him. And he just plays like his saxophone or all over the city of whatever the hell they live in. The mask is pretty cool, the facial expression is pretty dope, and yeah, not too much else in the design department, but nice musculature, and the knee pads came out pretty well, and everything else is decent. He does come with his accessory right here, which hooks on to buildings and stuff with a rope, and I do like how one eye is bigger than the other, so it's like he's not threatened by a lot of things, but still cool for what it is. So that is NIGHTMAN. Up next, we have one of the robotic villains called N.M.E, which is another name for enemy. So this was the initial first robots that were in the battle against the first Ultraforce team, and then eventually killed a lot of them. So these robots are like the army builders and a pivotal character to the war against the Ultraforce team. Figure is designed, kind of gives you like that alien-esque helmet with a long backer head with the teeth. It's more of a matte finish, but you can see a lot of its sketches within the actual toy design, a lot of scratches in the silver, and then the black wash on the armor pieces all looks freaking fantastic. I love everything about it. It's just really sculpted nicely. It's probably one of the best detailed figures of the actual toy line because you can see all the inner details within the armor pieces and the muscle definition of the robotic arms and the concept of the hands, giving it kind of like a Goro from Mortal Kombat. Very, very cool. Two hands are like the open hands, the other two are more like the gripping hands. He has a nice skull there on his torso. Everything else, some mechanical pieces going out through the legs and the toes, all looking very cool and nicely sculpted. I love, again, the whole headpiece, very alien-esque. Now he does come with these weapons where it has like the holes right there. You basically slide it into the actual arms of the hands that stick straight, and then you take the other one and slide that in there as well, and then it gives you the missile-esque style launching of the actual figures, which does look pretty cool. So yeah, it's really, really badass and a cool addition to the villains of the Ultraforce. So that is N.M.E. Alright, and last but not least, we have the main villain, ATALON, and he's okay. He wasn't really much of a threat to the Ultraforce team. He disappeared here and there, but he just doesn't really shine as an actual villain. The head sculpt is just a bit weird. He has a little band around the hair, but the locks are decently sculpted. The cape is like that hard plastic, just random red sculpt. He has like the green outfit with the beige and the red boots with some spikes on the sides by the calves. And some decent sculpting there. The golds came out pretty cool and nice sculpting there. The only way you'll know he's part of like the Ultraforce team is just by the actual chromes that you see right here on the shoulder pads. It's pretty decent, but not really one of the highlights of the roster, because you would think he's more of a Thanos to the Ultraforce, but you know, he didn't really shine or do much. He did do something in one episode, but it was alright. The overall design of it is a little bit mediocre, doesn't really shine or give you like that oomph that a villain should need, but it's okay. He does come with this half weapon of a blade and missile launcher, which is whatever. I don't like when villains use like guns and blades, but it's fine. And then he does come with this weird little dragon dude with a staff, so with a pointing staff. I'm not really sure what that's all about, but yeah, I believe he was in the cartoon too, but I just honestly I don't really remember, but it's nicely sculpted. So yeah, not too much else to say. It's a decent looking villain, but could have been a lot better for the animated series. Not much of a threat, but offered some decent scenes here and there. So that is ATALON. Alright you guys, so that was my Ultraforce collection released by Galoob in 1995. Now there are some hits and misses within these figures, but as a whole I think they just look absolutely cool. Now there's some articulation and some designing sculpts that I thought were just absolutely bizarre, like Prime right here. But when you really look at it, I think these figures really do have potential, and despite mimicking a lot of the MCU style characters or even just Marvel or DC, you'll know that it does have potential, but if they really were to craft it and make it their own thing, I think it could actually become quite something spectacular. So hopefully somewhere down the line, if you haven't seen the animated series, go ahead and check it out, or you can even read the comics for that matter. So I want to thank you guys all for watching. Be sure to give a like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next episode.